I'm 45 years old this year, and for reasons that I'm yet to still fully understand, I decided to enter a CrossFit competition. And I've never really done any meaningful exercise in my life, but during a period of time where I was experiencing some immense personal loss and some challenges with my mental health, I signed up for something that would end up physically and emotionally being one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. My name's Blair, also known as Moog from Mighty Car Mods. I'm 45 years old and I'm a musician and composer from Sydney, Australia. And I've spent most of my career writing music for TV commercials. I've done hundreds and hundreds of pieces of music that have been used by all sorts of brands all over the world. And I'm also the co-creator of the YouTube series Mighty Car Mods that I make with my mate Marty. And we've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes, and it's one of the biggest independent car shows on YouTube and just ticked over 1 billion views across our channels.
I grew up in country New South Wales on a cattle farm. My grandparents lived in an old schoolhouse and we lived in a house on the same property. I grew up in bare feet and helping out around the farm, collecting wood and collecting eggs from our chook shed. I was riding goats and horses years before I even got a push bike. Other than some backyard cricket with my grandparents, I wasn't interested in sport or exercise at all. But as I got a bit older, I got the gift of a lifetime. My mum organised me piano lessons and that was it. I was hooked, practicing on my piano at home for hours at a time and playing the old church-style organ that was in the schoolhouse where my grandparents lived. My only interest was music. No exercise, no sport, just music every single day.
This continued all the way through high school. My interest in any kind of sport was absolute zero. The school that I went to, the cool kids were the sporty kids, and that was not me at all. I'd pretend to be sick during sports carnivals, during swimming carnivals. If there was ever a chance to kind of lay out people and pick them for the teams, I would be the last one picked, and I just grew to really dislike anything sport and exercise related. While I wasn't being picked to be on anyone's sports team, I did pick up some drumsticks, and after years and years of playing classical music, the moment I picked up some drumsticks, I got a girlfriend pretty much straight away. So there's a little tip for any drummers out there, and just started playing in a metal band and I absolutely loved it. When I finished high school, I went to music school for 4 years to do a Bachelor of Music and then honours in music. And during the entire time there, I did absolutely zero exercise, nothing. I didn't join any sports teams, didn't do any running, didn't ride any bikes. I did absolutely nothing. And when I finished music school, I started working in recording studios, and engineers and musicians, are not really renowned for being the fittest people. You're working really long hours and long days in studios, often in artificial light. And so I did absolutely zero exercise throughout that time as well. Probably the one thing that I had going for me health-wise is that I didn't drink alcohol at all. On my 17th birthday, I got really, really drunk and I just went, I'm never doing this ever again. And I committed that on my 17th birthday, and I'm 45 years old now and I haven't been drunk since. I think I was about 38 years old the first time I kind of ever did any kind of exercise. I'd done some martial arts and stuff when I was younger, but I met this guy in the street who was going for a run and he's like, do you want to come for a run? And the thought of that was actually really scary, to be honest, but I thought, you know what, it's a challenge, so I'll have a go. And we went for this trail run and I didn't even last a kilometre. Like I literally could not even run 1,000 metres. And I felt really, I guess, ashamed and embarrassed about that, but he was so kind in that he kind of said to me, you know what, it's not about running a big distance. This is interval training. It's like Tabata, so run a little bit, then walk a little bit. We'll do different paces. We'll do fast, we'll do slow, and just slowly chip away the meters until you can do 5 kilometers. His name was Brent, and what I didn't know exactly at the time was that he was a chiropractor and osteopath with a clinical interest in neuroscience. He'd worked at lots of universities. He'd worked with countless professional athletes from 10 tennis through to cricket through to Olympians, and he himself was somebody who was super fit, super agile. He was a triathlete and was someone who just out of sheer kindness had offered a local person the chance to kind of go for a run and do some training with him, and I really, really appreciated that. And as the kind of weeks and time went on that I kind of was trying to do some running and some basic things, he opened up his backyard to some of the local guys and said, hey, he would do training. There was no gym memberships, there was no money, there was no commercial interest at all. It was just somebody doing something really kind for the community. And so I would try and do a little bit of trail running, but then I would also be going to his house on Monday nights. And his name's Brent Gordon, and he's since become one of my best friends. So I kind of devised my own workout where I would run a kilometre and then I would try and find the closest tree, and I would grab a branch in whichever configuration I could, and I would do some pull-ups and then run another kilometre, then find another tree, and that was just my workout. I would just run and climb. I logged thousands of kilometres of running and thousands of pull-ups. If there is only one workout that you can do, run and climb, that's it. Like, that absolutely covers everything. And particularly anybody out there that might be experiencing any mental health stuff, like running and climbing and just getting out in the air, and particularly if you can get out in the bush, was the best thing that I ever did. Doing pull-ups on trees just seemed to make so much sense to me. It was such a variety in the stimulus in terms of how thick the branches were, where they were, whether you had to jump, whether you had to go low. It was just something that I felt had been honed over thousands and thousands of years as part of our evolution, and I'd finally tapped into it. It's like it was always there, but I'd never opened the door. And in fact, it's in everyone, and it's just a matter of actually going out and getting into nature and just seeing what your body is capable of. And there was one thing though that I really wanted to do, and that was a muscle up. So that's where you start with your pull up and you pull yourself all the way up, and then you end up going over the bar. And I was like, that, I just want to be able to do that. So I went down to the hardware store and I bought 2 fence posts, some concrete and a plumbing pipe, and I just built a bar and I just kept going until I could do one.
When I got my first bar muscle up, it was the best feeling, particularly because it had taken me around 2 years to get it. But I soon realised you can also do them on trees as well. And with a bit of practice on my bar and while running in the bush, soon I could link a couple of them together.
After time just running and doing pull-ups on trees and then using my own pull-up bar, I realised that you actually don't need a whole lot of machines and different equipment and technological stuff. But what I also realised was that I could make most of the stuff I needed myself from the hardware store.
The key thing about functional fitness is that it's meant to prepare your body and brain for the environment around you by exposing you to the pushing, pulling and compound movements that mimic situations in the real world, like lifting heavy items, walking, running, simply standing up or placing heavy items on a shelf above you. It aims to promote better endurance, flexibility and balance, which all play a pivotal role in our well-being and longevity as we age.
After using just trees for years and homemade equipment, I decided to eventually buy some secondhand stuff off Facebook Marketplace. These I got kind of as a bulk lot, someone who was getting rid of their gym, and the kettlebells I just kind of got, like this one here I think I found on the street. And this here, this is my shed at home where I make stuff, but now this room has kind of converted into a gym with more stuff that is all secondhand, just from weird places, like that wall ball there. You know, our gym was throwing that away because it was all busted up, so I've just got gaffer tape holding it together, and then I just got some bands up here, and then I've just mounted this on the wall, again like hodgepodge of different weights because they're all secondhand from different places. It probably doesn't look fancy, but there's weights and I lift them and that's all you need. I was out for breakfast one day and then I saw this pamphlet. It was just sitting on the table and it said, "Come and try CrossFit." And I was like, what the hell is CrossFit? Is it some kind of cult where people lift weights and yell out enthusiastic phrases and train like they're part of an elite military unit, all inside a really hot concrete box? Because if that's the case, I'm in.
CrossFit is an intense training regime consisting of constantly varied strength and conditioning programs of functional movements that blends major Olympic and powerlifting lifts like cleans, squats and presses and others with gymnastics like pull-ups, ring work and handstands, and mixes that with cardio movements like running, riding and rowing. It is really intense and has been the proving ground of some of the fittest athletes in the world. At the same time, the functional philosophy of CrossFit has made it hugely popular with the military, police, emergency first responders, and the general population. It's practiced by millions of people in gyms all over the world, but they don't call it a gym, it's called a box. I don't know exactly why, but I decided to join up and see what it was all about.
The guy that ran the place, his name was Adam Brown. He used to be a cop and he was working in surveillance, and then he'd kind of opened up this gym, and he was probably about 5 years older than me, but one of the fittest guys I'd ever met. And I saw him training and I'm like, this guy's the real deal. What I was struggling with a bit though is that I still had this idea of like what it meant to exercise or what it meant to be fit. And he was someone who used to be a cop, but now he owns a gym, and he's kind of older than me, but he's really fit, but he's into breath work and cold water immersions and growing his own food, and he's kind of a hippie that lives down the south coast. And I didn't know what box to put him in. There's too many disparate different things that didn't fit with my idea of what it meant to be a certain person. And I think this is when I started realizing that I had all these filters, all these different ways that I looked at the world, all these different ways that I looked at other people, the judgments that I had of other people, and also the judgments that I had of myself. And I had to start questioning those and questioning my idea of who I was in the world. I started really enjoying exercise. I was training with my mum, I was playing around at ninja parks and on holidays, and I had a bunch of new friends that were really happy doing burpees in sub-zero temperatures as well. And I was fit enough to attempt and even complete these various obstacle courses like True Grit, Spartan, and Tough Mudder. The thought of being able to enter and even complete any of these courses previously was so alien to me that it was almost unfathomable that I would even conceive that I would be able to do it, but I actually was starting to really enjoy feeling like I was somewhat physically capable. Just like I decided earlier on that I really wanted to learn how to do muscle ups, I also just had this other arbitrary goal where I was like, I want to try and bench press 100 kilos. Not because it was any percentage of anything, it just seemed like a nice round number. Did I think I could do it? Absolutely not.
My first attempt, I could take it off the rack, but that was it. I couldn't lower it down at all.
I'm not lifting that 100 kilos. That is not happening. Did I think I'd be able to do it eventually? Maybe. And so I just chipped away over time. And the thing I realized that after working in the music industry for so long is that there's so much that is up for debate. There's so much argument, you know, is it this scale? Is it this sound? What do you think about it? But going to a gym and lifting weights, like, there's not as much contention. You can just either lift it or you can't lift it. Around this time, I hadn't heard from my dad for a while, and it turned out that no one else had either. So I tried calling him and he didn't answer his phone, and we sent an ambulance to his place, and he'd collapsed and he was dehydrated, and we took him down to hospital and they did a scan, and it turned out that he had a massive glioblastoma, a brain cancer. And yeah, it was really, really big. And one of my friends was a neurologist here in Sydney, and we transferred him here so he could have surgery almost immediately. But his prognosis wasn't looking very good. Yeah, the doctors gave him around 12 months to live at that time, and I became kind of his main contact and carer. And it was a very, very tough time, and I had some real mental health struggles during that time while I was trying to process what was going on with him. And I was finding it really hard to get up sometimes, really hard to be motivated, and I was feeling quite depressed, but also really anxious. And it was just a very, very difficult time. And it was around COVID at this time that he was moved into a home that was closer to me, and so there would be long periods of time that I couldn't see him. And going to see him after not seeing him for a couple of weeks, it was kind of evident to me how he was declining really quickly. And eventually when I would go to see him, he wouldn't be able to talk anymore. And he would just squeeze me. If he could understand what I was saying, I would hold his hand and he would just squeeze my hand. I got a call one morning from his care home and they said, you should come over, like right now. And I rushed over there as quickly as I could, but I didn't get there in time. And so that's something that I've really struggled with since then. I was a real mess after that, and I felt like I was completely kind of broken down into all of these separate parts. And at that time, I was neglecting a lot of aspects of my life and therefore my mental health, just due to not having good sleep hygiene and not eating good food and maybe consuming things that I had allergies to and things like that. So I really was just trying to build myself back up from scratch. And at the same time, Adam, who had been coaching me at the gym, had also been spending a lot of time with my dad before he passed away. He'd been helping him with just mobility, getting in and out of bed and walking and moving and doing training with him. And at around that time, Adam said to me, you should enter a CrossFit competition. And I was like, there's nothing in me at all that felt like it had any interest in ever doing that before. But I was also kind of completely broken down into all these different parts and looking for something to grab onto. And I was just like, fuck it, let's go.
I took a trip as a young and I'm running, I'm loving the freedom, I never look back. I got the vision of singing in every nation I land, we'll flying a flag. I see us coming together, relax, and tell all the ops to give me the facts. Said if we bury the hatchet, we building a legacy fast.
I need to properly overhaul my body and my mind to get ready to compete. I have to develop strength, endurance, gymnastic skills, plus learn a whole lot of new movements that may come up in competition. The idea is to try and be as good as I possibly can be across a whole range of movements and abilities. I need to become a kind of Swiss Army knife of fitness, strength and agility. I won't be able to beat a sprinter at running and I won't be able to beat a weightlifter's deadlift, but I'll attempt to hold my own across as many different domains as I can, and this means working as hard as I possibly can over the coming months to get ready. There are a variety of different competitions that run each year, and being 45 years old means that I'll be competing in a Masters division.
The first stage of this competition process was an online qualification process. So there'd be a variety of different workouts that would be released, and then you would have to perform these in varying different areas and levels of fitness, and they would be judged. Everybody's scores would be submitted, and based on those scores, how you compared with everybody else in your age division, that would decide whether you get to the next stage. I just got an email that says I've made these semi-finals in New South Wales. It says athletes who finish in the top 8 of their state region qualify for the semi-finals. So I'm off to the New South Wales finals. There will be 4 workouts that all have to be done in the one day. There's going to be a crowd there, there'll be judges there, and the best people from all over New South Wales will be coming to compete together.
This is it. I'll be competing for the very first time in my life.
3, 2, 1.
There are 4 workouts today. The first event consists of 5 wall walks, which is walking up a wall on your hands like this. It's actually way harder than it looks and really taxing on the shoulders. Then I have to do 10 burpees over a bar, making sure that they're done to a competition standard so that I don't get a no rep, and then I'll be moving over to the rig to complete 15 toes to bar. Then you have to do a snatch, which is the heaviest weight that you can get from the ground to above your head. There's a 5-minute time cap to complete all of these movements, and you have to do the whole thing 4 times. The score for event 1 will be the culmination of all of the different times of how fast you can complete the 4 rounds of movements. The score for event 2 will be the cumulative best weight that you can lift on each of the rounds. The 4 best lifts are added together, and this is the score for event 2. By the 4th round, I'm slowing down. I'm really tired and my shoulders are burning, but I just try and keep going 1 rep at a time and prepare for my final lift of this event. It wasn't pretty, but I got there, and that's event 1 and event 2 done. I get a small amount of recovery time, and then there's 2 more events for today.
Somewhat astonishingly, I won event 1 and I came equal first in event 2. I don't know what is going on.
Event 3 is a couplet of alternating shoulder presses at 45 kilograms with chin-ups. I'll do 10 presses, then 21 pull-ups, 20 presses, then 18 pull-ups, 30 presses, then 15 pull-ups. There's 60 shoulder presses to do and 54 pull-ups or chin-ups to be completed as fast as possible. And after this morning's events, this one is going to be tough. With event 3 finished, there's just one to go.
The last one is a rowing workout and then as many squat cleans as you can. So you've got 2 minutes to row 20 calories, and then whatever time is left, once you hit the 20 calories, you do as many squat cleans as you can at 60 kilos, and you do that for 10 minutes. It's going to be brutal.
I have to get these 20 calories rowed as quickly as possible because I'm not as efficient with weightlifting. The faster I finish the row, the more time I'll have on the bar to get as many lifts done as possible until the 2-minute mark, where I'll start the same sequence again for 5 rounds. By round 2, the legs are already feeling taxed. This is going to be a very long 10 minutes. I didn't really tell anybody that I was competing today. I felt like I was going to fail, and I'd rather fail by myself than in front of people that I knew. But Brent and a bunch of my friends found out what time I was competing, and they've all come down to surprise me and cheer me on for this last event.
So I've just had this email come through. It says, congratulations, you have qualified for the Masters CrossFit Championship 2023. This event will be held in Ballarat, Victoria. The competition is the culmination of your dedication, training and efforts in the online qualifier and semi-finals. The event features top male and female athletes from the categories. I'm in the 45 to 49 intermediate category. All Australian states and territories send their top 2 male and top 2 female athletes from their semi-final to compete in their respective division at the 2023 championship. The championship will be held over 3 days. Workouts will be released 2 weeks prior to the event. The main arena is the Ballarat Mining Exchange. Looks like I'm going to Ballarat.
With the finals looming and a busy schedule of both writing original music and releasing YouTube videos, I had to try and stay fit as much as possible. At that time though, Marty and I were shooting a feature film in France. It was a really hectic schedule and left hardly any time to do exercise. So I just had to get in whatever I could, wherever I could.
It's just gone midnight in Australia. So
now
what are we doing?
Running up a freaking mountain, which is what we always do.
As is tradition when we land in a new country.
Feels great after being on a plane for a day.
Going for a run, and we're just amongst the trees, the birds, the bees. Beautiful. We're about half an hour to Paris. It's unreal.
I'd just get up early in the morning and just create a workout out of whatever I could find around me and whatever structures I could find. And it really felt like when I'd started just kind of running and doing pull-ups on trees, except I'd be running around a town and doing pull-ups on whatever I could find. I think one of the barriers that we have with exercise is that we feel like there's too many requirements to start. You need special clothes, special shoes, a gym, supplements, a workout app, and all of this equipment that's really expensive. Yet all of these things are strictly modern inventions. They did not exist for most of human history. We've been running and climbing for thousands of years, and everything around us can be turned into a gym. I think there's also resistance to exercise because it's uncomfortable. So what would be the incentive of doing it? We know that we're meant to, but who wants to get hot and sore and sweaty and tired if you don't have to? But for some people, I think the real learning will be in the discomfort. In many ways, my exercise became my therapy, teaching me how to deal with discomfort, deal with negative self-talk, and guiding me on how to deal with being tired and exhausted in everyday life, yet getting up anyway to keep going, to lift up the bar again, to take another step, to make that difficult call you've been putting off, or to share your pain with someone else. To me, that is the goal, an expression of what the human body and mind is capable of.
Back in Australia with the competition only a few weeks away, I had to start training and eating like I never have before.
If you all talk, you get left in the rear view, waiting for that new Moog to drop. Here's a preview. You say you be everywhere, but we don't ever see you. Everything I was the first, it's the sequel. They ain't ready. Turn the speakers up and slam in the gear. Your favorite rapper and producer reconnected this year. Ain't no slowing us down. High speed when we pass by, so when you hear that beat drop, please put them hands high.
It's exactly 3 weeks until the championship, and the workouts are released in 1 week, so no doubt everybody's eagerly waiting to see what they are. They might have a bias towards like aerobic stuff, it could be running, it could be gymnastics, it could be like lifting, like we just don't know. So over the next week, I've just got to keep training. I'm currently training every single day, sometimes twice a day, and just trying to sleep well and also just eat as much as I can because I'm just hungry all the time. So speaking of which, let's go down to the supermarket and buy some food. I just can't actually get enough food in every day. So I also don't really eat much meat. So just trying to eat as much fresh food as I can, heaps of veggies, tofu, rice and stuff like that. Yeah, I gotta get some frozen meals as well because I just don't have enough time to eat as much food as I need. I'm hungry all the time. I'm trying to eat like 14,000 kilojoules a day. It's just eating constantly. It's crazy.
I am what's known in bodybuilding circles as a hard gainer. I find it very hard to put on muscle mass. And while CrossFit is not necessarily focused on size, there's a huge component that's related to strength. I've weighed pretty much 75 kilograms my whole adult life. I've got a really fast metabolism and need to eat a lot even when I'm not exercising. But the real key to my gains in strength is going to be nutrition. And for the first time in my life, I'll be tracking my macros, eating clean, and trying to hit targets and eating to a plan.
Personally, I don't touch any of this stuff. Like, it's just going to be full of, caffeine, which me and caffeine's not great. So I'll just stick with the real food.
I am going to eat mostly clean, but I am going to have a few treats as well. Alright, this is what breakfast looks like. I make my own porridge with a bowl of oats mixed with soy milk, coconut yogurt, a spoonful of honey and an apple cut up on top. Then I'll make a smoothie with 30 grams of protein, a cup of water, a banana, strawberries, blueberries, muesli and ice mixed together. Then it's 2 pieces of toast, one with avocado and one with peanut butter. I take some multivitamins and fish oil and a shot of juice, a handful of almonds and some cashews. And then I'll follow that up with a full meal. This one is chicken and potato. And that's breakfast.
I didn't really quite understand the eating thing until I started this. It's just constant. It's like, I'm hungry all the time anyway. But the amount of calories that I'm meant to get in, like based on my like macro tracking, is just it's like 6 to 8 meals a day. It's just like whenever you're not doing something, you're just eating. It's an expensive thing, and I guess a privileged thing to be able to like expend like this much like caloric effort doing something where, I'm like, I acknowledge and I'm aware that there's some people in the world that don't even have enough food to eat, and then there's people that are bodybuilding and I guess doing what I'm doing that are like have enough resources to get all this food in. So it's kind of a funny thing. It's not life and death. So it's, but I mean, you got to compare it to your own circumstance, of course, but it's just, it's a strange and a weird thing. Like, I'm aware of it. I'm doing it, but I'm aware of it. All right. So the CrossFit Championship is now in about 2.5 weeks. And so I'm not sure really how much can be achieved in like 2.5 weeks. Like, I'm not going to be making any like drastic changes in terms of like how much I can lift or anything like that. But I have started increasing my workouts to 2 a day for most of the week. And that just means that I can start kind of focusing on my recovery. So I'm going to do that for the next week or so and then start to taper just before. Eating even more again. So today, like, I started the day with a 5K trail run, 100 pull-ups on trees, some bear crawls and 2 150 sprints at like 10 out of 10 effort. And then had 90 minutes off, and that was with one group, and then had a CrossFit group, like a normal CrossFit group. So that's me done for the day. So I just got to eat. And that's where I'm at basically. All right, so I've just arrived in Queensland, so I'm going to be here for the next 2 days. So I'm here to shoot a TV commercial, and this is my hotel room. I mean, it looks like a hotel room, but for the next couple of days, because I'm going to be on set all day, they're going to be long days, and there's no gym, then this room right here will become my gym. Slightly awkward when you've already got a beard, but your own beard is not good enough.
Just not enough.
And you need a stunt beard. I mean, that's going to be me in a couple of years anyway.
So this is like, you know what's coming.
I've got a CrossFit competition in a couple of weeks. Will this last that long so I can go into an older age category? I'm in the 45 to 50-year-old category. I reckon if I go in like one of the older categories, I might do a little better. So will this last? Will this last like 2.5 weeks?
Yeah. It might look a little ratty. It'll probably make you look older. You're probably going into an older category.
Well, that was almost 12 hours in prosthetics, and I am just exhausted. I'll hit some exercise in the morning. I'll call today my rest day. Apparently they're important. They are important. So today, rest day.
I started the next day with some burpees in my hotel room, and then throughout the day, in between takes or when I'm not needed on set, I'll try and get some pull-ups and some handstand push-ups done while wearing this beard that's actually from a person and still smells like the previous owner.
All right, I'm finished for the day. So now my beard can come off and all this prosthetic stuff can come off. Get on a plane, get back home, get back into regular training ASAP. I got 3 days until the workouts are announced, so I'm eagerly awaiting. So in exactly 2 weeks' time, I'll be on the plane on the way to Ballarat for the finals. I'm currently kind of up the ante a bit with the training, and so I'm pretty much training every 12 hours now, so twice a day. I'm going to do that for the next kind of 7 to 10 days and then taper off before the competition. And I guess I'm enjoying myself. It feels a little bit stressful because it doesn't really mean anything whether I win or lose, but you know, I'm going to do the best I can for an older fella. I don't know, I guess I just want to kind of be the best version of myself that I can be, and it's exercise and stuff is something that's come very late for me. It's not something that I've spent, you know, much of my life doing at all, so like I want to have a proper crack at it and see how I go.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are really comfortable with sport and fitness. It comes really naturally to them and they can lift really heavy weights. This is not me. I'm constantly trying to turn down the voices in my head that I'm not meant to be doing this or that I'm not good enough. I'm 45 years old and I'm doing some of these movements for the first time in my life. I don't want to be better than anyone else in particular. I just want to try and be better than I have been and better than I was yesterday. And that kind of mindset takes some discipline for me to keep working and keep trying to push. And at the moment, I'm pushing hard every single day.
This is not fun anymore. And I don't actually know why I'm doing this. I mean, I do know, but it's like a hard thing to explain, a hard thing in words. It doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense if you try and vocalize it or explain it. It's just exhausting. I actually don't know why I'm doing it. I legitimately don't. Except I kind of do. Like, you got to test yourself, right? Like, you got to see how far you can go. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to see how far I can go.
It can be easy to lack motivation if you're seeing loads of posts on social media of people doing more impressive things than you feel you're capable of. But your own brain, this is your own internal Instagram feed, and you can impact how you think and how you feel by your behavior. This is your story, and you can decide how it starts and how it ends.
It's Monday morning and 10 days till I leave for the competition, and I'm wrecked. I did a big workout last night, which was shoulder to overhead, squats, wall balls, pull-ups, and a salt bike. 676 reps and calories all up. It took about an hour. and I am feeling it, I tell you what. So this morning I'm just gonna focus on eating some good food. I'm not gonna do anything major, just kind of do some stretching and do some mobility. And then this afternoon I need to work on some skipping. So I'm actually doing a skipping lesson with a girl that I know to do some double unders because that is one of the movements that is going to be coming up in competition and one of the movements that I don't know how to do yet. So I've got 10 days to learn how to do it, which should be interesting. Unexpected plot twist, I'm in hospital. I think I've been bitten by a spider and I've got really severe swelling and pain down on my leg. So I went to the pharmacy and they said I should go to the hospital. So I'd come to the hospital and they seem mildly concerned. So I think they're going to be putting in a cannula now and taking some bloods and also giving me some antibiotics by IV, which has got me a little concerned about how that's going to leave me with a competition like in 10 days or so. But yeah, my leg looks, it doesn't look good. Here we go. Don't love that. Yeah, not a massive fan of that, hey. It's like, I'm sure no one is, but it's particularly not great for me. They were just going to take bloods, but they've left that in there because they think they might need to IV me some medicine shortly. So I'll just wait to see another doctor now and see how we go. All right, got IVs now of medicine, so just hang here for 20 or 30 minutes and then hopefully they'll let me go home and do the rest of my medicine and stuff at home, hopefully. All good, it doesn't kind of turn into anything worse. All right, well, I finished up at the hospital last night at about 11 o'clock at night. So I took a dose, I guess, of antibiotics via IV, which took about 20 or 30 minutes. And then the doctor came and saw me and gave me a prescription for some more meds that I got to go and get this morning. It's like, is there anything I need to know? And he's like, don't exercise for 10 days. I was like, that's not going to happen because I've got this competition coming up. And I'm like, so I can't not exercise. I'd rather not take the medication. Not good advice. Certainly not advice you should follow of mine. But at this point in the game, like, I'd just rather not. And he's like, you know what? Take it for 5 days, then give your body 5 days clear and go for it. So that's what I'm going to do. I've had my first full day of antibiotics, but I did speak to the doctor about the kind of antibiotics that I was taking. I said that I need to keep exercising. And then the pharmacist this morning was just like, just do what you do as normal, which I'm going to. Today I'm going to be working on one of the complexes that's for the competition. It's a clean shoulder to overhead, then a front squat, then a shoulder to overhead. Basically go as heavy as you can. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. Today's job is to do some weights, but also try and practice double unders. Double unders are like skipping, except every time you skip, the rope has to pass under your feet twice. I'm just not that good at it, and I've been trying for a long time to try and get them. Anyone that I ask about it, they go, you gotta have good rhythm, you gotta have good rhythm. And that's always like a tough pill to swallow because I'm a musician, like that's what I actually do for a job. And you know, I had a percussion major when I was at university, so I feel like I've got good rhythm because I've made a career of it, but I just can't get the rhythm right. So I think it's actually the seat time, like driving a car. I think I just got to spend more time under the rope. So that's what I'm going to do today.
I don't know exactly what's happened, but since last night when I was bitten by a spider, now I can skip better.
It's a record. Good session, and that is the most double unders I've ever done in a single session. I think I got 23. It's just about relaxing, jumping high and being fast. But as a total competition newbie that I am, it just occurred to me that maybe like a normal gym, they don't supply all the stuff like skipping ropes, and I checked with someone and they're like, no. So I've just ordered one and hopefully it gets here in the next like 8 days, which is when I leave. Just doing some rowing and skipping. My watch has come up saying that my rope is ready to be delivered because I don't actually own one. So That's good news. That there is heavier than I've weighed in my entire life.
My training's going well, but as the competition draws closer, my mind is constantly trying to make up an excuse to get me out of actually going.
I've got like 100 reasons of why I should just give up and not go. Whereas actually I know what I need to do is I just have to face it and do it. And be prepared to fail and prepared to lose and be prepared to come last. And what is the worst thing that's going to happen? I'll come last and I'll deal with that. Can I deal with that? Yes, I can deal with that.
I think what's compounding my mental fatigue is that I've really intertwined this competition and the training for it with the idea of overcoming and accepting loss and pushing myself to process any negative emotions around that. It's on my mind a lot as I'm training, but I'm also really trying to enjoy the learning, accepting being totally out of my comfort zone and willing to celebrate any successes no matter how small.
I'm on my last day of antibiotics and I hit a double CrossFit again today. So I'm feeling pretty sore all over. I'm going to do some workouts tomorrow and Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday I'm just going to chill. Like maybe I'll go for a little, like a 5K run or something like that, but just something very light.
My new skipping rope has arrived just in time. I'm still a long way away of trying to piece together 100 total double unders, but it's certainly better than it has been in the past.
That's what it looks like when you're learning double unders and you miss. It hurts. That's it. I'm going to have tomorrow off. In 48 hours, I'll be in Ballarat ready to train. And I'm just, I'm excited. I'm also nervous. I haven't had an opportunity ever before in my life to kind of put myself to the test physically. I've done lots of music and art and video and stuff like that, but never anything like this. And so I don't have any fantasies about winning or anything like that. I just want to throw my hat in the ring. I want to get in the arena and have a go and see how far my training can take me. I'm really proud of how hard I've trained and how much work that I've put in, and I'm just excited to see how it goes. So I'll head home, pack my bags and get ready to jump on a plane in 2 days' time.
Now that the day's come, I've got a lot of anxiety rising up and I'm feeling massively out of my comfort zone and like a real imposter. But I'm forcing myself to get on the plane because almost everything in me wants to turn around and go home.
I arrived in Avalon. It's cold. Now we play the hire car roulette. Hopefully get something decent. I've got about 100 kilometre drive, I think, to Ballarat. So go grab myself a hire car, grab a snack, and then hit the road. All right. Oh my gosh. How uninspiring. It smells like coriander, so strong. All right, Ballarat, let's go. When I picked up this car, they told me that it's a little race car. I think they've probably got different definition of race car to what I have. Let's just plant it for a second. Oh my Lord. Race car.
I had a friend that was going to be competing at this event also, but due to an injury, she had to pull out, so I will be heading to Ballarat solo.
Okay, I've arrived in Ballarat. It's freezing. And I have no food, so I'm just at the supermarket going to grab a bunch of supplies for breakfast tomorrow and snacks to have while I'm training.
I'm replicating exactly the food that I've been eating for the last few months. This is not the time to be trying new things the night before a competition. It is straight up fuel and I've got a feeling that I'm going to need it. Now, off to my hotel.
All right, this is me for the next 4 days. All right, let's get the fridge packed. All the meals. All right, fridge is packed. It's 9:30 at night. Tomorrow is the competition. Hello. I got my gym bag down here that's kind of got all my wrist straps, water bottle, gloves, all the stuff I'm going to need for tomorrow. Running shoes, weightlifting shoes, shoes for my feet, and then got all my breakfast planned for tomorrow. So got my protein in there, vitamins and supplements in there. Bananas, peanut butter, avocados, nuts, that's kind of what I've been living off. Got my oats, that's it. So this is it. This is the moment I've been training for. Good night, see you in the morning.
Ballarat is a cold city in the Central Highlands of Victoria, and in 1851 it sparked the gold rush. During this era, a location was required for the trading of mining shares, and so the Ballarat Mining Exchange was built. But for the coming days, it will be a competition floor, a place where dreams and fears can be crushed. After an official welcoming ceremony, I'm moving to the local athletics field for the first 2 events.
We're out here at the field now. It is freezing and my heat is on in 30 minutes. So basically we'll start here over on the rows and then we've got sandbag runs over here and then deadlifts with dumbbells and stuff. So people are looking pretty tired. So yeah, I got half an hour, so I'm going to go get changed. I'm wearing all my winter stuff and I'll get my workout clothes on and then kick on.
Event 1 is a 50 calorie row into 15 lateral burpees over your rowing machine, then into 100 air squats, 15 more burpees, then another 50 calorie row completed as fast as possible.
And everybody, let's go.
There's just a couple of minutes rest before going into event 2, which is a 400 metre weighted sandbag run, and then 12 deadlifts, 9 hang power cleans, 6 shoulder to overheads, all with dumbbells, with a total time of 7 minutes to do as many reps as you can. I went out hard and I completed the run first, but I put so much into it that I was fully cooked for the next section of the workout and I had nothing left in the tank. The first part was great, the second part, absolutely horrible.
400 metre run with sandbag. I came in first, but then I was gassed for the deadlift, so people definitely took over me in that section. That's day 1 done, 2 to go. Day 1 is done. And then my only goal actually before coming to do this event was there's a 400 metre run with a 20 kilo sandbag. My only goal for the whole event was just to come in first on that. That was it. So I did that, I went hard on that. I came in first, but that was at the expense of the next thing to come, which was dumbbell deadlifts, dumbbell cleans and shoulder to overhead. And I was just completely cooked. I was just absolutely smoked after the row and after the run. I was just cooked, so I didn't do as well on those movements, which is a shame because it's, movements that I'm reasonably proficient with. But that's today. I've been talked into having an ice bath. I'm sure it's good for me, isn't it?
Get your knees in, come on, you can do it. That's it. That's it, big breath.
During this competition, I'm going to be supporting the charity ReachOut, which is an absolutely incredible organisation that helps support the mental health of young people and their families. And I'm very, very proud to be an ambassador for such an incredible organisation that has helped thousands of people in their darkest times. So if it's something that you feel could help you or help someone you know, please check out the ReachOut website. For every kilo, rep and calorie that I do over these 3 days, I'll be timesing each of those by $1. And at the end of the 3 days, hopefully I've got a good chunk of money to go to ReachOut and hopefully support them for all of the good that they've done. All right, day 2, let's hit it. Event 3 is a barbell complex including a clean, shoulder to overhead, front squat, then another shoulder to overhead. The heavier you go, the more points you get. I can run and climb all day, but weightlifting is not a massive strength of mine, so this is going to be tough. You get 2 minutes each attempt and there are 3 attempts in total. My strategy is just to get a score on the board that I know I can hit and then try and load up some more weight on the second and third attempt. I've got 70 kilograms on the board, so I'm going to try for 75, which will be equal to the heaviest that I've ever lifted while fresh in training. I did this successfully a few weeks ago in the gym, and now I've got to try and back it up on the competition floor while I'm still hurting and aching all over from yesterday's events. I've got 75 kilos locked in and 2 minutes left on the clock, so I'm going to add another 2.5 kilos, which if I lift successfully, will be a personal best.
Go, Blair.
Event 3 is done, so officially halfway through the competition. Next up is going to be kettlebell snatches and overhead lunges. Yeah, got a little break though, which is good.
Event 4 is 4 rounds, complete within 2 minutes, 8 single arm kettlebell snatches, then 8 single arm overhead walking lunges. Repeat for the other side of the body, then complete as many ring rows as possible within the 2-minute window. Repeat this for 4 rounds. The weight is 24 kilos, which under fatigue and for one arm is really heavy.
3, 2, 1.
The weight is so heavy that when I start to do my lunges, I can't even walk straight. At this point, I'm really starting to fatigue and I'm struggling to keep moving. I have to will myself with everything I've got just to put my hands on the weight.
Pick it up. That's it, nice and strong.
I entered this competition to try and find my limit, and I'm right on the edge of what I can take. I'm struggling. I feel like a failure. I shouldn't be here. I'm weak. I can't finish. I've let myself down. I'm thinking about my dad. There's so many emotions hitting me all at once, and I'm overcome with grief and exhaustion. My limit, this is it. As the field marches on, I put my weight down and give up. During the period of time that my dad was dying, sometimes my grief felt so heavy that I couldn't even get out of bed in the morning. And I'd tell myself, just get on your feet and take one step. Just take one single step and then take another one. No one is coming to save me. No one is going to carry me. No one is walking for me. It's time to take a deep breath, stand up, and finish what I started, one step at a time.
That was really tough today. I hit like a rock bottom in terms of like I just needed a rest. I need to stop, and yeah, through that workout I stopped and I
crouched down and all the crowd got behind me. They're like, pick it up. And I picked it up and got going. And in that event that I thought I was coming last, I ended up kind of hitting some boost and ended up coming 5th in that one, which I'm really proud of. So that's 4 workouts done. There's 2 more to go. So one of them is thrusters and pull-ups, and the other one's double unders, toes to bar, and some box jumps and devil's press and a variety of different nasty things. So that's tomorrow, but for now I can just rest up. Had a Nutella donut, that was delicious. Now I'm just gonna have a shower, read a book, and get ready for tomorrow.
Event 5, perform 100 double unders, 40 toes to bar, 30 box jumps and 10 devil's press with an 8-minute time cap. This is the one that I've been scared of. Up until only around a week ago, I couldn't do more than 3 double unders in a row, and now I've got to accumulate 100 of them against a clock.
Yeah, man. Got this.
I've actually got them. I did more in a row than I'd ever done in my life, and sure enough, ticked off all 100 so I could move on to the rest of the workout before the time ran out. After completing my 40th toes to bar, it's over to the box jump overs.
Nice work. Come on, boys. Come on, we get this. Let's go. Come on. One more. Hey!
Fifth event's done. That was the double unders, toes to bar, box jumps and devil's press. That's 5 events done now. There's 1 left to go, which is Fran. And then I'm back home. I got that one right on the buzzer. Right as the clock buzzed, I got the last devil's press. That was freaking amazing. It's a pretty wild atmosphere here, actually. Woo!
The final event of the competition is Fran, 21, 15 and 9, thrusters and pull-ups with a 5-minute time cap to complete or do as many reps as you can. I came here not to win, but to teach myself a valuable lesson. Just because I think something is true does not make it the truth. We invent our own truths every day and fill our minds with fictitious, often limiting stories of which we are the author, but then we accept them as gospel. We're more than just our stories, more than our diagnosis. We're more than what we've been told we have to be, and we're more than our failures. In fact, there is no story, there's a blank page, and you hold the pen. You can write anything you like. If this was a Netflix documentary, this is the part where you'd find out that I overcame all my hardships to come first place. But this is real life, where there's no Hollywood ending, no first place, no podium. But I got in the ring and I had a go. I worked as hard as I could, 1 step at a time.
3, 2, 1, time.
And that's it. That was without a doubt the hardest physical and mental thing I've ever done in my life.
That's it, I'm officially done. 6 workouts. Thank you, Ballarat. You're awesome. And now I'm gonna go back to my hotel, grab some food, have a shower, get on a plane, and head back to my somewhat less hectic life in Sydney at home. I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself.
Keep pushing. It's all up here. Keep pushing. Keep driving. You want to do it, you can do it.
It was very inspiring out there with you, man. Like, seriously, just seeing you smash it and smash it in life as well. So from all of us, big cheers for us. There he is. Good job, mate.
you for watching. And of course, if any of you feel like you're struggling at home, there's lots of resources out there. Please check out the ReachOut website. And if nothing else, just try and do some exercise. You don't have to join a gym, just do whatever you can. If you can walk, walk. If you can climb, climb. If you can run, then run. Just start with something. Start with something. Just try and get out of your house. And if you get to a point that you can join a gym, make new friends, learn new skills, and you never know where it can take you.
Rise and